Are you constantly chasing approval? It's killing your power. This isn't just a feeling, it's a strategic drain on your personal energy and autonomy, an invisible force systematically eroding your true potential. Today, we expose the pervasive habit of seeking external validation, a subtle yet insidious trap that prevents authentic connections and systematically drains your personal power. Imagine yourself on a hamster wheel, constantly running, expending immense energy, but never truly moving forward, always seeking that elusive pat on the back, that nod of approval, that like or comment to feel worthy. This is the validation trap, a cycle where your self-worth becomes a commodity, traded for the fleeting opinions of others. This isn't about being liked, it's about being owned. When your sense of self is tethered to external reactions, you become a puppet on strings. Your decisions, your emotions, even your identity are dictated by an audience you can never fully control. This constant performance is exhausting. It leaves you feeling hollow, anxious, and perpetually insecure. It prevents you from forming genuine connections because you are always presenting a curated version of yourself, a version designed to please, not to be authentic. We will guide you through a strategic process of identifying and eliminating these validation-seeking behaviors, empowering you to cultivate robust internal self-worth and attract genuine respect. This journey is about reclaiming your power, about building an unshakable foundation within yourself, a foundation that no external opinion can ever destabilize. It's time to stop performing and start living with true autonomy.
For too long, society has perpetuated a mainstream belief that seeking approval or validation from others is a natural, often necessary part of social interaction, and a way to ensure acceptance or belonging. We are taught from a young age to conform, to please, to fit in, and often validation is presented as the reward for these behaviors. It feels good to be praised. It feels reassuring to be accepted. It feels safe to belong. This belief suggests that external affirmation is a vital ingredient for social cohesion and personal well-being. However, this mainstream belief is profoundly incomplete. It overlooks the insidious cost of constant external validation seeking. While a healthy dose of feedback and connection is indeed beneficial, a reliance on external validation leads to a fragile sense of self. Your self-esteem becomes a weather vane, constantly shifting with every gust of opinion. This dependency fosters inauthentic connections, relationships built not on who you truly are, but on the persona you present to gain approval. You become a chameleon, changing your colors to match your surroundings, losing sight of your true self in the process. Ultimately, this constant chase erodes personal autonomy and genuine respect. How can others respect you when you don't stand firm in your own worth? How can you make decisions aligned with your deepest values when you're always looking over your shoulder for approval? This is where our contrarian thesis comes into play, a strategic truth that will fundamentally shift your perspective. Constantly seeking external validation is a strategic drain on your personal power and prevents the formation of truly authentic relationships, making you dependent and less respected. True power and genuine connection stem from internal validation.
Imagine a conceptual diagram. On one side, an external locus of control, where your sense of self-worth is a fragile balloon, constantly buffeted by external winds. On the other, an internal locus of control, where your self-worth is a strong, rooted tree, unyielding to the storms. Social psychology research on locus of control consistently demonstrates that an internal locus of control correlates with higher self-esteem and overall well-being. This isn't just a theory, it's a scientifically backed principle. When your sense of worth comes from within, you are less susceptible to anxiety and external pressures. Studies on self-esteem further show that self-worth derived from external sources is inherently unstable and prone to anxiety. It's a house built on sand, beautiful perhaps, but destined to crumble. Our goal is to help you build that house on solid rock, the rock of internal validation. Now, you might be thinking, isn't some level of external validation necessary for social cohesion and feedback? This is a crucial distinction. There's a vast difference between constructive feedback and validation seeking. Constructive feedback is specific, growth-oriented, and often solicited. It helps you improve. Validation seeking, however, is a constant, generalized craving for approval, driven by insecurity. A strong, rooted tree can withstand the wind and even benefit from it, but it doesn't need the wind to grow. Similarly, internal validation allows you to process feedback objectively without your self-worth being threatened. It enables you to discern valuable input from mere opinion.
You might also ask, how can I build internal validation if I've always relied on others' opinions? This is a habit, not a permanent state. It requires a strategic validation detox. We acknowledge it's challenging, but it's entirely achievable through consistent practice and self-compassion. Finally, won't I become arrogant or isolated if I stop caring about others' opinions? Quite the opposite. Arrogance often stems from deep insecurity, a desperate need to prove oneself.
True internal validation fosters authenticity and quiet confidence. People are naturally drawn to genuine stability, not performance. When you stop performing for approval, you attract relationships built on who you truly are, not who you pretend to be. This leads to deeper, more authentic connections, not isolation. Isolation comes from fear, not from self-respect. The strategic path to reclaiming your power begins with a validation audit. This is a systematic process to identify your specific triggers and behaviors. First, identify your triggers. When do you most often seek validation? Is it after posting on social media, sharing an achievement, making a big decision, or even just choosing an outfit? Second, recognize your behaviors. What do you actually do? Do you constantly check for likes, fish for compliments, over-explain your choices, or engage in people-pleasing? Third, track the underlying feeling. What emotion drives this need? Is it insecurity, fear of rejection, a desire for praise, or a need to feel significant? Fourth, assess the cost. How does this behavior drain your energy, create anxiety, or lead to inauthentic interactions? For example, if you find yourself constantly checking your phone after posting a photo, the trigger is the post, the behavior is checking, the feeling is anxiety about acceptance, and the cost is wasted mental energy and a fragile sense of self-worth. Once you've identified these patterns, the next step is to implement self-approval practices, drawing on therapeutic principles like cognitive behavioral therapy or CBT. One powerful technique is to challenge validation-seeking thoughts.
When a thought like, "I need X's approval to feel good," arises, question it. Is this absolutely true? What's the evidence? Reframe it to, "My worth is inherent. X's opinion is just data, not a determinant of my value." Practice self-compassion. Treat yourself like a trusted friend. What advice would you give a friend in your situation? Replace your critical inner voice with a supportive, understanding one. Use strategic affirmations, not generic platitudes, but statements that directly counter your specific validation-seeking patterns. For instance, "My worth is not negotiable. I approve of myself." Or, "My decisions are my own." Most importantly, engage in action-based self-approval. Do things purely for yourself, without any intention of sharing or seeking praise. Set and enforce boundaries that protect your energy and values. Celebrate your small internal victories, like choosing to do something you enjoy without posting about it. This consistent practice of internal validation is how you cultivate unshakable self-worth. It's a muscle that strengthens with use. Embrace the initial discomfort. Growth always happens outside your comfort zone. Focus on internal metrics of success and well-being, rather than external applause. The transformative impact of this shift is profound. Your relationships will fundamentally change. You will attract genuine respect because you project authenticity and self-assurance. Your connections will be deeper, less dramatic, and built on mutual respect, not performance. You will reclaim your personal autonomy, making decisions aligned with your deepest values, free from the constant gaze of others. Your emotional security will soar, leading to less anxiety, more resilience, and a stable sense of self that no external opinion can destabilize. You will reclaim the immense energy previously spent on performing for others.
This is the path to true power, true connection, and true freedom. Stop chasing approval.
Start living with unshakable self-worth. Subscribe for more strategic insights on reclaiming your power.